Hi guys, this is Gert from SEOleverage.com. We're also streaming this on Instagram and Facebook right now. I hope I can get access to LinkedIn streaming soon as well. This is going to be a weekly event. We are going to do a weekly Ask Me Anything sections where I basically collect the questions I get throughout the week. And we also accept questions that come in live directly on the stream. Let me just see if this is streaming correctly on my other computer. Yeah, looks good. So absolutely, yeah, this is going to be a weekly thing. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Central European time, 8 p.m. Sydney, we're going to see how this is adopted and might do either another one for people from the US and Eastern time zone and otherwise just switch the times. If you want to make sure you're following and you don't miss out on anything, any questions and answer sections, follow us on Facebook or follow me directly on Instagram. I'm going to always stream this on Instagram as well and announce this in the future way ahead ahead of time. Hi Jürgen, great to see you here. We are going to jump right into the first question. It's a question I always get, and it's really about how long does it take to see SEO results. So SEO, you might have heard that SEO is a long-term game. SEO is something you want to plan ahead. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to start an SEO campaign today and get your results tomorrow. You definitely want to make sure that you have a few months time and enough budget to do things right. So I remember, for example, a client we started with, I think 9 or 10 years ago already, where I just suggested that it might be interesting to have a blog where he talks about the common questions their sales reps get all the time. So if someone asks this question on Google, they might come to your site, get exposed to the brand. And to be honest, we have been doing this for two times a month for 8 or 9 years now, publishing blog posts, answering questions. Their traffic graphics go up and up and up. They get leads all the time since even for blog posts from 2011. I checked the analytics the other day, so that's awesome. But you need time. SEO needs time. SEO doesn't take 10 years, but we usually advise clients to at least have a 3 to 6 month time frame in order to make sure we see if this has enough potential to continue. You'd always see movements right away after a couple of weeks already maybe, but you see those movements in Search Console. So Google Search Console is something you might want to check out, because Google Search Console is basically a webmaster panel you can opt in for, and that gives you as the site owner or the responsible agency or consultant access to more details about how a website is working in search, which keywords are being used, how many impressions does it get, how often someone clicks on a certain search result. And this, for example, is a quick win if you would like to increase traffic to your site. Sometimes it's enough to optimize your search results. So there's a title coming up and a description. We call it a meta title and meta description. If you optimize, if you tweak those things, it's going to help you quite a bit with your click-through rates. So it's one thing that Google thinks your search result is relevant, but another thing to convince people to click on it. So definitely summing up, spare about 3 to 6 months to revisit the strategy. And if you're on the right track, very competitive niches might take 12 to 24 months. It's no secret. It's nothing. It doesn't make any sense to tell you any other thing. We have seen very quick results on local SEO campaigns, for example, where maybe after a couple of months, site really jumped to position 1 already, because we did the proper optimization. And local SEO search marketing for local businesses is different. But we also know that SEO can take quite a few months to really get your website exposed on page one, and within page one you want to go to the top directly, because every result on, or every position on page one basically gives you about 30% click-through rate boost. And then it really depends on what Google is doing on its result site. You might have seen that there are different panels coming up, like a people also asked panel. There might be a gallery with images, there might be products showing up, etc. And all these things take away possible clicks to your website. So there's a lot coming into this, but as long as you plan ahead and you stay with it, you stick with it, it's definitely going to work out for you. Another question we get very often is how to start an e-commerce store. And that's an interesting one. I'm quite passionate about it. I just had a chat with my teammate here at the office about it, because I was doing technical support for our e-commerce stores a few years back. I originally come from a web development area. And I have been talking to hundreds probably of websites, our e-commerce store owners, and people who wanted to leave their job to focus on their e-commerce store, etc. And everybody gets so hung up in the technical side of things. They don't know which platform to use. Should it be Shopify? Should it be Magento? Should it be PrestaShop? Should it be WooCommerce? Should it be BigCommerce? And what really matters if you have an online store is that you get people visit it and buy from you. So I have seen so many people getting caught up in the technical side of things and spending hours and hours and entire weekends and nights working on the technical side of things. And all this time is taken away from promoting their website. So even if your website is perfect in the technical aspect, you still need to get it exposed to potential buyers and need to convince those buyers to buy from you. So my suggestion for starting an e-commerce store is always focus on the marketing side of things. Do not get caught up in the technical aspects. Use a solution like BigCommerce or Shopify that basically take away all the technical aspects. You can focus completely on what really matters in e-commerce, and that's online marketing. You need to create trust. You need to expose your products to potential buyers. You probably need to create a mailing list. You probably need to create a lot of content, and you won't have time for all this if you focus on how one plugin engages or has a conflict with another one, or if adding a new theme is going to have your checkout show an error message, etc. Don't focus on the technical side of things. Focus on the marketing side of things. So I think this is a good way to start an e-commerce store. If you are just interested in e-commerce, but you don't really want to take care of the stock, etc., and the delivery, why not partner up with some existing business and offer them that you are going to try to sell their products online and they handle all the delivery. This way also you have directly a legitimate business name on the website, a phone number, address, etc. And this can very much bring you forward in terms of conversion, and you can just take a cut on the revenue. The next question is, how did you start your business? That's an interesting one. I basically started out with web design. So the first website I created, when was I? I think I was 15 years old or so, was for the local chess club. I created a website for them. I was a member of the chess club. And from there, I quickly got one member of the chess club asking me for a website. They had like a stone related business, artificial stone. I'm not sure how this is called. And from there then had, thanks to my brother who's on this call as well. Thank you so much for your help. He trusted me a lot right from the beginning with his agency for everything web related. And we still, today we're helping him out with SEO and search marketing. And he got me exposed to quite a few projects. We also have been I also have been getting more clients in the e-commerce space before, and then website space, and more got into search marketing, SEO, and we are now today completely focused on search marketing. The whole team is growing. We invest heavily in training the team. I'm going to be more and more involved in content creation, video creation, and I'm obviously doing the sales course. And what I really like to do is the quick audits we have on our website. So for a quick audit, we basically check out with our tools. We take a very quick look on the website. It's going to take 15 or 20 minutes for a website. We record the video, we give suggestions, we basically search for the 80-20 of what a site should focus on. That's the main things I'm focusing right now. I'm completely away from web development right now. We have a programmer on the team who's working on in these things. And yeah, the start was really the technical side of things and web development. The next question is, why do my rankings suddenly drop? So this is an important one and coming from a medical website. And there's a concept we need to understand is that Google basically has a problem. The problem is that they really need to verify if a certain content is valuable, if the source who wrote this content, who created the content, has the authority to talk about this topic. And there we have what we call the your money, your life sites. So everything that's related to the money side of things, or your life, health, etc., is going to be looked at with a lot of detail by Google, also by their human evaluators who evaluate sites. And you want so you really want to make sure Google can identify that you are a legit source for creating this content. So definitely make sure, if this is, for example, a medical website, make sure there is a doctor who wrote about, who created the article, have their image, their bio, their link to their LinkedIn profile there, for example. If you have any certifications, add them to your website. Make sure there is an ISO certificate if you have it. If you have any industry certificates, partner certificates, etc., add them to your website. Make sure, however you can, to convince Google and their evaluator teams that you are a legit source of the content, that you know what you are talking about, and only then they are going to give you the credit. So a lot of medical websites, what happened in this space is that there were so many websites were created in this space, advisors websites that basically just use user-generated content. So someone asks a question, some other user answers, and they were ranking quite well for quite some time. But what happens today is that Google is not going to take into account so much those, let's call them low quality comments and texts. Google wants in the medical space, they want authorities talk about what they have been studying for years and practicing for years. So you need to make sure you convince with certifications, names, biographies, etc. on your site, and then probably have a chance to recover your rankings. Other than that, if your rankings drop in general, you always want to make sure to know what has dropped. So take a look at Google Search Console, for example, check out what was getting traffic a few months ago or before the drop, and what has changed. What are the click-through rates? What's the impressions? Is it only related to one or two URLs losing traffic, or is the entire website losing traffic? Also check out your backlinks, so the links pointing to your website from other sites. And then we can also check out the last Google algorithms that might have hit your site. So there are, for example, core algorithms. Core algorithms on Google usually try to readjust everything and impact everything in order to streamline Google results more to what users expect at a certain moment in time. So for example, we had a site losing more than 70% of traffic from one day to the next, basically. And it was all due to content structure, usability, site speed, and internal linking. This is how we managed to get the site back up after 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. And now they're already with a 20% plus. The usability is a very big part of the equation. You want your website to be fast. You want your website to be structured in a way that Google users really like it. And you want your website to correspond to the search intent. So the intention why someone was checking out your website in the first place. Another question is, what does ERICA mean? So ERICA is a concept I've come up with. It's an acronym. And I'm happy to explain this because I'm really proud of it, because since we focus on this approach, we are getting much better results for our clients, and they are much happier with the service we deliver. So ERICA basically is an acronym and covers evolution, research, interlinking, content, and action steps. This is the framework I walk every consulting client through in a couple of calls we do with them every month. And this basically makes sure that everybody is on the same page. You know, when you have a business, you're very busy, don't really have time to focus on SEO, you don't have time to focus on anything else. You have so much on your plate with your team, with clients, with sales, etc., that SEO is very often the first thing that gets left behind. So what we are trying to achieve, and what we are achieving actually with our clients now, is that SEO kind of stays there. Even if they just do the calls and they do nothing else, at least they are aware of what's happening. We can tell them the priorities. We can tell them how their competitors are doing. And that's where we basically follow this concept. So let me quickly walk you through what it means. So in the evolution step, we really tell clients what the current situation is, what has been the situation over time, so graphics in terms of traffic, in terms of organic conversions, and also check their competitors and see how they are doing. So it's always nice, you always have those competitors in mind, and you want to know maybe how they are doing, if they are getting better, if they are getting worse, if they are pretty stagnant in over time. So we compare our clients' graphics with their competitors, so we can see when the competitor is taking over, or if a competitor is losing traffic. This is a lot of potential for us to recover, to basically steal this traffic from them by building up the appropriate content. And yeah, there are a few things we do here to make sure we also take the rankings, obviously, and take the organic traffic. The next step is research, and this is probably one of the most underrated aspects in an SEO campaign. You always need to be researching. So what we research, for example, is content, keywords, search intents, technical site issues, and competitors in detail. So this means that every 2 weeks, I will be studying with my team one of these aspects for our client and present it in the consulting calls to them. And then we might look into ways or suggest directly what can be improved in terms of site speed, what we have found, what they can give their web developer a hint on what they should be focusing on, or we can analyze a competitor and present to them what the competitor has been doing in the last weeks and months to get where they are, and what can we take away from this for our site. We might take a look at a certain keyword and variations. So research a keyword in forums, in Facebook groups. How does it come up? What are the doubts around a certain topic we could address in content? And that's basically the research step. In terms of interlinking, we have two things we check out. We have got the external links, so links from other websites to your website. They are a very big part of the equation for Google when they determine where your website should come up in search. And then we also check out internal linking. Internal linking is probably the second underrated aspect in SEO right now. We need to make sure that the links we point internally to the different pages tell Google what the overall site structure is about. If you imagine you have a business about, I don't know, a car repair store, for example, every single page on your website is going to be basically about the same topic. What we need to make sure is that Google clearly understands which one of those pages is the one that you want to rank. Otherwise, the pages are basically cannibalizing each other and taking away their potential. So Google, at the end of the day, can't have 20 pages about the same topic because they don't know what to do with them, right? Internal linking is going to give structure. Internal linking is helping you to build what we call silos, which is basically a main topic and a lot of surrounding topics that can address different questions, aspects around it, etc. And that's the real site structure we are looking at. And within the interlinking part, we always revise the site structure of the client. We check their external links, point out links that might be harmful or be related to negative SEO attacks in very competitive spaces where competitors try to create negative links to negatively impact your rankings. And also the internal part where we make sure that the most important pages on the site create are clear in terms of site structure and internal links. And every time you create a blog post, for example, you want to make sure that you correctly link to different pages, and the blog post in the first place should only be created within an overall content strategy. So this was the last question I had noted from this week's calls. Every time I do a client call and there are certain questions come up, I usually note them down in my live sheet, in my document, where I note everything down I want to keep and use for content creation. If you have any questions, just checking the comments panel if there are any questions marked. If you have any questions, just send us an email to support@seoleverage.com, and we're happy to talk about this question, clarify it in one of the next pieces of content, or come to one of these question and answer calls so we can directly talk about this. You can maybe ask a question directly to clarify. Basically, we are collecting these questions to really help you get better rankings. Absolutely, the next step, very often I'm asked about the next step in order to get ahead with your SEO. What I very often recommend is doing a quick audit. So a quick audit, what is really a video audit we do here, and is going to help you quite a bit and focus your attention on the 20% that are going to bring 80% of the SEO result. So many clients do focus on too many things at once. Maybe they create like hundreds of pieces of content without any clear structure, or they only create links but they don't do anything else. So you can do a lot of things in terms of SEO or with the intent of improving your SEO that are not going to have any impact, or maybe even have a negative impact. If you have 20 versions of articles about the same topic, adding 20 more is not going to help your SEO, but rather confusing Google. So definitely make sure you do your things for a certain reason, get professional SEO help about your site's current status, and be sure you know what to focus on. What we usually do is we map out the content pieces for our client in advance so they can work through the different pieces of content and create them after we have done the research. And then it's really machine learning algorithms, machine learning tools, and our analysis coming in where we say, look, if you want to rank for a certain piece of content, it needs to have this structure, these topics in this order to be eligible for a page one ranking. Otherwise, very often, it's just a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money wasted without seeing any impact. It doesn't really matter if you have a page 7 result right now, page 7 ranking, and you do some SEO and you get up to page 5. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to see an impact neither in traffic, nor in leads, nor in sales. Nothing. You need to know what you are doing. You need to know where you are competitive in, because you're not going to be competitive right away to compete with the big brands on page 1. You need to find a spot where you can compete, and that's very often a more segmented level, a more specific, what I call long tail level, where you really have a serious chance to rank. So that's it for today's question and answer section. Definitely follow us in Facebook or Instagram. Quickly putting this up there again. Check out what you can get in terms of content. We are sharing all the videos, all the Ask Me Anything live sessions there as well. And definitely worth checking this out, following us on social media. We're giving tips away all the time, basically very open, very transparent with our approach. And I would be happy to connect with you, send me a direct message, and happy to talk about how SEO is going to help you. Have a great day. Bye.